We have a thing here called the sunset rule in the company, and it simply says that everybody gets called back by sunset. So it's easier to do in the summer when the days are longer. But I say that to say that, and what does that mean? That means that everybody deserves that, right? Even the person you don't want to call back, even the person that there's a hanging chad, I don't have the answer yet. But I think we've had the sunset rule here for a long time. I think today, hopefully you'd all agree that with text and instant, even emails now, don't half the people you work with expect an email within an hour. I don't know, it's ridiculous. It really, really kind of is, but people expect it. But the story I was going to mention, we did up in Sioux City, we insulated a chemical tank. If you can picture when you go up along the river in Sioux City there, the chemical tanks are those monster, they're about 130 feet up to the rim, huge domes. They actually have a ceiling in them, and then that dome is kind of like the roof, and then there's a hole you can crawl in up there. But I got a call, I was out in the field running a job, company going 100 mile an hour, looking at my list of people that had called. A guy from Texas had called. I thought, hey, call me, I got a job for you up from Midwest. Now that's one where we're already buried alive. Guy from Texas, what's this going to be? I called him back. We ended up getting this job I'm talking about. It was to this day probably the most, however you want to measure it, gross profit dollars per dollar work per hours. It turned into, but the job itself was an incredible logistic challenge. It was at an active chemical plant. We had to go through all kinds of things. I was there every minute myself for a little over a week to do it. It was multiple semi-loads of rock. It's an unbelievable thing, but the biggest thing of all, it was one of those jobs where, how many of you ever seen the movie Pretty Woman? Remember the negotiation when Julia Roberts is in the tub with soap suds up around her, and Richard Gere sitting there in his suit, sitting on the edge, negotiating what to have her around for a week because he's got all this stuff to go to, and they spar back and forth, and it all ends with her going, "I'll do it for $2,000," and she splashes in the water and is all excited, and then after he's going out the door, she says, "You know, I'd have done it for $1,000." He said, "I'd have paid $4," and this is one of those jobs where I had to estimate it, and I'm doing it, and it's like, it's totally outside the box, and so it's like, okay, it's this much material, got that figured out, all logistics, and it's like, but I better throw in another day, and I better throw in another day in for 7 guys, oh, and I better throw in this piece of equipment, and by the time you're done, your gyrations in your head are going, by the time I'm done, I've got a new truck. I said, you know what, if we do this, I deserve a new truck out of this. So I put a complete blow rig on it, which is, at that time, was a $100,000 deal. Add that on there, on top of what I thought was a lucrative deal, and call him up. He says, okay, can you be there on this day and guarantee him you'll be done on that day? And I said, absolutely, I'll be there every minute. He says, do it. Fast forward, we do it, went well, we were on it, did all that. Call him up, Julia Roberts story. He says, I called up, just follow up, hey, are you happy, and can we do another one for you when it comes up somewhere? He says, absolutely. He said, how'd you do? I said, we did really good. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, we made good money. I said, how was my price? He said, I've paid twice that. Anyway, there's several lessons. I haven't gotten over that yet. All of us hate leaving money on the table, right, in a big way. So I haven't gotten over that part of it. But the sunset rule was born because in that final phone call, he says, listen, I said, well, why'd you pick us? And he said, you called me back first, same day. He said, I called 5 guys that day. He'd gotten 5 insulators in upper Midwest, and I was the only one that called back that day. He told me later that my price actually was the highest, so I had that little bit of satisfaction of the ones that bid it. So.